Welcome in to another edition of SE Checks In, presented by First Texoma National Bank. I've got a very special guest with us coming live from the brand new volleyball venue, senior Savage Storm volleyball player, Grace Shehadeh. Grace, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for taking time sitting down with us. Grace, like I said, is a student athlete on our campus. She's a senior, been here since 2017. She's the Student Athlete Advisory Committee president, and we'll kind of get into what that is later on in the program. Grace, what's your major?
I'm a marketing major, and I'm pursuing 2 minors in management and psychology.
Nice. So where are you from?
I'm from Plano, Texas. I graduated from Plano Senior High in the spring of 2017, a long time ago.
Oh, that's not that long ago. So close to home, came to Southeastern. What kind of transition right there? Why Southeastern?
Southeastern was a really easy decision for me. The moment I stepped on campus, my tour, I met a lot of people from the community. I met previous teammates. I met some of our administration, and everyone was super, super welcoming and really, really nice. So it was a really easy decision for me.
Well, we're excited to have you here. Like I said before, she's a senior on the volleyball team. Well, what kind of transition to this, coming live from the new volleyball venue? What's that like being a senior and seeing that get done?
It is super nice. The past 4 years, I've kind of seen everything kind of come together. My first 2 years, I played in what was Old Bloomer Gymnasium, and some people name it the Dennis Rodman Gym. And then my junior year, when construction kind of started, I played in the arena, which is really nice as well. And then my senior season is going to start here in the volleyball branded gym, and I'm super, super excited. The weight room, our new weight room, and our turf room is amazing too. It's really, really nice to see how kind of everything has come into place the last 4 years since I've been here.
So we'll kind of start there, having your own branded volleyball venue. So playing at Old Bloomer, it was more open. We've taken some seats out, kind of moved seats to one side and the teams on the other. It's going to create an environment that I think is going to be awesome. It's going to give us a unique home court advantage. And what are your teammates saying about it?
They're all super, super excited. We actually refer to the volleyball gym as our home. We'll say, hey, meet at home, team meeting at home. So we'll meet in here. It's super, super homey. When the bleachers are pulled out, you can kind of get an idea of how fun our games are going to be. Our fans are going to be a really, really big factor in the sense of how hard of an environment it is going to be to play in here. So I'm super excited to see how that kind of all unfolds in the spring.
I can't wait either. Me being an alum, I used to go to volleyball matches in there, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be like. And, when it's just 2 or 3 people in there talking, it creates an echo. So it's going to create a loud, awesome environment for us. And the visiting team is definitely going to have a different feel when they walk out of there. And so kind of transition into the turf room, weight room. You mentioned that. Did you ever get to see what the weight room used to be?
Yes, I worked out in the old weight room for, I guess, up until this past summer.
So how is that walking into the new open area that used to be the pool that got filled in and has doubled the space? It's I bet it's nice being able to walk out in there and be able to work out in there.
It's amazing, and it's exciting every time we step in there. It feels brand new still, and I know all my fellow student athletes can kind of back me up on that. Super, super nice.
Yeah, we had some awesome donors come through to help fund that project. We cannot thank them enough. We've got great donors, great Savage Storm athletic partners, great supporters, great community people that come and buy tickets to watch our student athletes compete. So I mentioned earlier SAAC, Student Athlete Advisory Committee. You are the president of SAAC. How long have you been the president?
This will be my 2nd year this this school year.
So we'll kind of go into a deep dive. What is SAAC and what is that as a student athlete on our campus? What does that mean?
So I was actually kind of thrown into SAAC my freshman year, not really knowing what it was. SAAC is made up of at least 2 student athletes of every sport. And my freshman year, our upperclassmen said, hey, let's have one freshman go into SAAC. And one junior going to SAAC, and then me and Caroline, she's a senior with me now, or have been in SAAC for 4 years. My first year, I was just a student athlete in SAAC, and my sophomore year, I was the secretary, and then this past year, I was president, and then will be president again this year. So I like to summarize SAAC as the voice of the student athletes. We have 3 different relationships. One with our fellow student athletes. It's really nice to get to kind of see everybody in a different setting, you know, basketball, football, softball. You know, we're not in our practice stuff or in our jerseys, so we get to be a team outside of our teams and come together and discuss a lot of cool projects. And then we also have a relationship with our community. You know, if you are a student athlete at Southeastern, we all know how big our community is and how supportive they are of us. So SAAC is kind of a way for us to give back to the community that does a lot for us. And then thirdly, we have something with our on a national level, with our administration. We can walk into our administration offices and say, hey, you know, this is a concern that, you know, we want to bring voice to. Or we also have a say on legislation, you know, when start dates are, how many hours we get a week and stuff like that. So there's a lot of behind the scenes, and it's really cool to kind of see how our voices play on the national level.
SAAC does play a huge role on our campus at Southeastern. Like Grace said, they are the voice of our student athletes. They help create change for the positive in NCAA legislation. One big thing they've changed over the last couple of years is the financial aid piece. You know, we used to be able to do grant aid agreements that are by semester, and SAAC kind of posed a concern about that and went to yearly agreements. So, and that became NCAA legislation. And so those are things that are led by kids on campuses in conferences, and it starts on the campus level and gains momentum and gets all the way up to the NCAA. So we love having SAAC here. It helps us push forward. And so before we go into anything else, you know, how do you join SAAC? And if say you're listening to this and you wanted to help push Southeastern athletics to the next level and push forward, what would I need to do to join?
That's a really good question. Usually I'm around here. I'm probably in this area once or twice a day. So directly come up to me and ask me, or if you can't find me, we have a Southeastern SAAC Twitter. It's just Southeastern SAAC. You can DM somebody on there and ask how you can join. And then also, if you ever run into Cherry or Baxter, you can ask them how you can join.
So you mentioned, you know, giving back to the community and stuff like that. You all have taken on some projects over the last year, and some of them were pretty big projects. Some are community projects, and some are projects to highlight our student athletes. Talk about some of those things and the work that went in, starting with the Haunted Trail.
Yeah, so this past year, we were supposed to have our second annual Haunted Trail, but it got rained out. But it's totally okay. There's a trail right behind the softball field where our cross-country team practices, and it gets kind of scary at night without using props or costumes or anything. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so usually in September, October, our student athletes kind of come up with costumes and props and kind of like a scene for people to walk through and kind of get scared. It's $10 a person, and all donations go straight to a breast cancer awareness charity. So it's been super fun to get to kind of do that in the past, and we plan to do that again this year too.
I've heard that it's a good time and our student athletes go all out for that. You know, you mentioned donors, and so I'm going to bring this up. Talk about the Strong Together donor campaign that you all kind of spearheaded and said, hey, we want to build a foundation of giving back to our university. Talk to me about that and kind of how that came about, and kind of give us some detail on that.
Right. So last spring, Coach Baxter was able to provide all of our student athletes with a lot of tacos, and we came into what was construction at the time, and Coach Fears was able to kind of break down the details of what to expect this year as far as the new volleyball gym and what technology, what equipment we'll have in the new weight room and turf room and stuff like that. So it was nice for our student athletes to get more of the details. And at the bare maximum, Coach Baxter only let student athletes donate $1. And so a lot of our student athletes were able to make this happen. And those that donated were able to sign a bison head, which is now the first thing you see when you're heading to the weight room. So it's been super cool to see how SAAC and our student athletes were able to play a big role in getting the weight room done and our new facilities done.
So that bison head, it's about 5 feet by 5 feet, and it's staying up as long as this building stays up. You know, that was an awesome campaign that you all put together. The student athlete signatures that gave back are up there. You see it right when you walk in that part of the building, and that's going to go right next to the donor board, all the 270 donors that gave back for that. So, you know, we had, with including SAAC, we had over 300 donors easily. I would say probably closer to 350 that gave to that project, and we're 99.9% done with that. And so the other thing you all did was kind of get creative with COVID, and we talked about when we met, you know, let's get innovative on how we can showcase our student athletes in an award show. We normally do an internal award show, but this year we kind of did the at-home edition. So we went on the in the digital space there. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so originally it was kind of a bummer that, you know, with COVID, we weren't able to do that in person. It's super nice to see everyone in dresses and nice clothes outside of, you know, our jerseys and stuff. But like you said, we had to get really creative. We had a lot of successes this past last year, and there was no way that we could let that just slide under the rug. So we had to bring innovation and attention to getting those things done. And so our student athletes came up with a way to do our award show virtually over Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So that was super, super cool. And it was actually really, really nice to get to kind of do that online. And now the videos are still up and everything. So you can always go back if you missed out on that.
One thing that you all did that we're going to continue to do is do those videos, because it showcases every sports high and puts it out there for everybody to see. You know, there were certain times during the year, the ESPN basketball game where we went into overtime and we hit those free throws, and I still feel how I felt that night of the anxiety and all that. And so it's great to be able to highlight those highs with our student athletes. You know, being able to have volleyball player hit career amount of digs, set GAC records. You know, it's awesome to go back and think of all and see all that stuff that happened over a 365-day period. And so we'll kind of finish up with this. You know, you've been, like I said, you've been here for 4 years. What's it like being a student athlete on our campus, and how's your experience been?
Being a student athlete on campus has been awesome. Thinking about graduating in spring makes me really, really sad. But if I could summarize SC in one word, it'd be family. And this whole, you know, 4-year experience, I would say, has been an amazing learning experience. I've learned much more than just volleyball technique and marketing stuff in the classroom. I've learned a lot from my teammates. I've learned a lot from my coaches. And I've learned a lot from my fellow student athletes and professors and administrators. So an amazing learning experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
We'll kind of transition into this. When I say Southeastern Oklahoma State University, what does that mean to you?
Family. First thing come to mind, family.
That's awesome. Last thing, what's next for Grace Shehadeh after she graduates?
I'd like to pursue my master's. I know after that, I'd like to do something in HR or marketing. I'd like to kind of stay close to sports or even college sports. So maybe you'll see me back at Southeastern 5 years.
We'd love that. You know, we've got great online grad programs at Southeastern, so we'd love for you to continue on here. Well, Storm fans, that's senior volleyball player Grace Shehadeh, marketing major, SAAC president. Grace, thank you so much for taking time today.
Thank you. Go Storm.
And when we get to go play again, y'all need to make sure you head over to the newly renovated Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium and check out the new volleyball venue and help create an awesome environment for our student athletes. And again, thanks to First Texoma National Bank for being the presenting partner on our SC Check-In. Go Storm.
Good Storm.